Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, Director of Sales for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
How you doing, Rob?
Pretty good, bud. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Well, let's get this out of the way, okay? People have been, we got a lot of listeners out there. People have been waiting for a few weeks, and myself included. This is about vacations. I'm not going to call what you did a vacation because it was only a couple of days. It was a very competitive vacation, if you ask me. But how did the fishing tournament go?
Oh, well, it was kind of it was I don't want to say a letdown. It was fishing, so it was still fun to go, but it was very tough conditions. So I won day one and he won day two. Overall, I had the most weight, so that makes me the winner. But it was a lot of fun and good to see an old friend. So, but you know what? We're great friends. We're like, I've known him for over 35 years, but we cannot fish in the same boat together. And it's true. He knows it and I know it. We cannot be in. That's why I had to drive all the way there in my boat with my boat, and he had to drive all the way there with his boat. We fished the same lake together, but that's as far as we cannot fish in the same boat together.
So day one, what were the totals?
They were low, man. It was the lake was dropping, the water was dropping, and so the bite was off, and everybody I've never seen the lake before until that day. Either did he. And everybody we talked to said no, it's just really tough. So I had 471, 4 pounds, 71 ounces, 471, and he had
So you had close to 5 pounds day one.
Yeah, with two. Oh no, I'll take it back. Wait a minute, wait a second. No, I had almost 7 pounds because I had a 2 pounder too.
Oh,
so I had about 7 pounds, and he had 0.
No fish.
No fish. And the second day, I had a dismal 1.2 pounds, and he had a 1.5 pounds. It was just brutal. So
second day.
Yep.
1.2 for you.
Mm-hmm.
And 1.4 for him. 1.5.
1.5. Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, no big deal.
Wow, that's kind of a letdown. I mean,
yeah, you know what? It sounds like
wait. I almost want to. In this, Chris, I'd like you to put in what Wayne was saying. I don't know if he was saying it to me or the show, but this was going to be it.
Well, this was it.
This was going to be it. I mean, you and this guy, you've been saying this guy has been telling you he is a much better fisherman than you.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew it. He was adamant about it, and you were kind of adamant the same way. I mean, I'm looking at these totals. I hate to give you a pat on the back, but it looks like I could have beat this guy.
This guy's really a good fisherman. It was really.
He caught one fish in 2 days.
One keeper, yeah. So yeah, it was tough, man. But I did beat him, so that's all that matters.
But that's it. I mean, is that it now? Is it over? Did he give it to you?
He gave it up, yeah. But it's never really over. So there'll be another time. So
right now you got the crown then.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should make another belt buckle and say, "Here,
there you go.
This is what I won. This is mine. Until till you wear this, you gotta beat me to wear it."
There you go.
Now, all right. I do the belt buckle, I'll get you a belt, so at least you have a belt to use.
Yeah, because I can't have one without the other. I don't want to be picky.
Now I gotta get belts and belt buckles.
You don't give a kid a fire truck with no batteries in it. All right, we kind of talking about vacations here, Rob, and we interviewed some guys at our regional training center in New Jersey. The same guys we talked to about pressure. We asked them about vacations. Just in general in America, we don't handle vacations very well. A lot of people here in America, and it seems like we take less vacation time than most any country out there. Surprisingly, I think we work more hours than anybody. I will admit that I was still not very good at taking vacations. I I kind of put it on the back burner a lot and whatever, probably to my detriment. But I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm happy. When you run your own business, it's hard to go on vacation. I always say it's hard to leave because there's so many things you have to do to line up before you can possibly go, and then it's hard to come back because there's so much to do since you've been gone and you have to get caught up. I'm amazed at some of the responses that we had that guys are able to delegate, which I always said was one of my Achilles heel. I didn't like to delegate. Well, I just didn't wasn't good at delegating. So what about yourself, Rob? I mean, you value your family time, and you like your vacations, and so maybe you can tell us how you handle it.
Well, when I first got married, but I was still working the family business, and I think I had two kids, and after I had my second kid, it wasn't far long after that I started my own business. But before the family business is the sport business, and sport business is 6 months of cruising and then 6 months of crazy hours, 80 hours a week, easy. And those 6 months are the vacation months. Starts in spring and ends in the fall. So my family, we never did vacations. And if we did, it was always a late fall vacation when everything was closed. So vacations pretty much sucked, right? I mean, they were just kind of useless. But my grandparents had a beautiful cottage up in Lake Horace in Ware, New Hampshire. So it wasn't that we got family vacations, but we got, great weekends on the lake. So don't feel bad for me. Anyways, when I started my own thing, I'll never forget the first time I took a family vacation because now I'm not in the sport business anymore. So I'm just doing residential. So we took a vacation. It was awesome. And turned out, we wanted to do at least a couple of weeks every year. But what Pete and I found out was to take a 1 week vacation for Peter and I, we had to do like 3 times the amount of work for the 2 weeks before, and then 3 times the amount of work for a few weeks after the vacation. They were killers,
Hmm.
but it was definitely worth it because everybody in this business knows. I tell the story of my daughter-in-law saying, my dad came home every day at 5:45. You never know when my husband's coming home. You never know when the floor man's coming. If we can get a coat on, we're getting a coat on. Or if we're behind, we're behind. So you never know. So, you take a lot of family time away from your family when you're doing this job. I get it. And that's why I thought the vacations were pretty important for everybody just to have some fun, decompress. The only problem is now when I go on vacation, it's not just 3 kids, it's 3 other families. So they all want a vacation together.
So when you vacate, it's the
Yeah.
your kids' families as well. You all vacation together.
Everybody vacation. Yeah, if we go out for ice cream, it costs me $100.
That's
And
interesting. And so
and and
everybody,
and they love it. They love it. They think that's a
so
riot.
so the family all vacations together.
Yes.
I know another family that does that, and there's a lot of them. There's probably like 15 of them that all go together. And it's so strange to me. I love that. I think that's fantastic that you do that. But it seems very odd to me. Now, what if one of them, one year, one of them says, "No, we're going to go to Italy this year." Our group, is that a problem or
No, that's awesome. Go. That's really
okay?
great. Yeah,
Okay,
that's just I'm going to save money.
yeah.
I'm going to save a
Well,
little money.
that's nice that you guys do that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. But like I said, when we were self-employed, that was that was tough doing it. So I get it. And some of the questions, some of the answers we were getting from guys, was how they deal with vacations was just great. Very
Yeah.
lucky, some of them.
Yeah. You say there's important reasons to take vacations. Um, you told me that there's 7
Seven
important reasons you
important
have.
reasons, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to give 7 reasons why to take a vacation,
I'll give
and you're going
7
to give us
reasons.
7 reasons why not to take a vacation.
Yes.
Is that it? That's how we're
Yeah.
going to play this one.
Hmm.
Okay, Wayne, here we go. Uh, Taking a vacation improves your physical health, lowers your blood pressure, both men and women. And that's from a New York Times report.
Okay. Um, do you really want everybody to know how well they can get along without you? Do you really want to take that chance? You know, you come back and everybody had a fantastic week. I mean, the profits are up. You know, things were humming. Didn't really even seem to miss your position.
They're going to
Think,
go out of their way to do a great job now, right?
yeah, yeah,
To prove to you, we
yeah.
didn't need that guy. We don't need him.
We didn't need you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else the New York Times said? Maybe not every year. Once every 2 years, take a vacation.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That one I don't get. Are you a vacation guy? Do you plan a vacation?
No, I've said that many times. I don't, and I
You and Judy never.
Judy's bad at it too. Yeah, we're both bad at taking vacations, and I think like her parents, her family never took vacations either. Her dad never took off ever. Like they would go to Lake Tahoe when she was a kid, and he would work, and he would come up like Friday, Saturday, and then take him home. You know what I mean? So he would like not be there for their vacations. And we're, you know, in the military, you don't have any money to go on vacation. So we never really took vacation. We would just go like on fishing trips um, in a tent.
I
So
always, when you ever say fishing trip, I always think of that kid who was crying.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a hell of a vacation.
yeah,
Here, this poor kid thinks he's getting a nice 3-day
yeah,
fishing vacation.
yeah. Yeah, that's the thing for my second reason. So what's your second reason?
Second reason, it says, what was the first one again?
Lowers blood pressure.
Physical health. Yeah. Next one, it improves mental health.
That should be number one also.
Chronic exposure to stress can alter your brain structure and bring on anxiety and depression. When you take a vacation, feelings of calm arise. Ha!
Sometimes, but a lot of bad
Feelings
things.
of calm arise. Let me tell you, the last 3 days of vacation, all I had in my head was, I got this job, I got this job, I got to do this estimate, I got to call that. I don't know about feelings of calm arise. Maybe in the beginning.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I found out about vacations too. You know, let's say you're going, you know, leaving Saturday, coming home Saturday, 7-day vacation. We used to rent this huge house in Cape Cod. It was actually 2 houses, so there was plenty of room for everybody. And it would be seriously, you would wake up and go, "Oh my God, it's Thursday. What happened? What happened in the last 5 days, man? That was just
it goes quick." You know, vacations are expensive. And so you see a lot of people doing those staycations, whatever, where they're kind of staying home and not really going anywhere. But I think I did that one time, and you start walking around the house, start looking at everything that needs to be done, and you know the fence you want to build, and the floor you want to do, and all these other different things that you want to do, and it ends up costing you a lot of money. And so I can't get behind the staycations. I don't know even why that even I don't think they did that years ago and consider that a vacation. So you might as well just keep on working and keep making money and just forget about that part of it.
Just throw the whole thing out. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, you know, since COVID and everything, we haven't done that family thing. We are doing it this year. We got a place up in We're going to a lake up in Canada. We got a big enough place for everybody to go, so we'll be doing that at the end of August. But we haven't done our family truckster vacation since COVID because
Mm.
of all the craziness and everything. So
Who picks the locations you guys go to?
whoever pays, so it's usually me.
So you have to pay for the whole lot of them?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a problem.
Not really. It's not.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
not a big deal.
I was gonna say you could have everybody chip in. I'll tell you an honest to God story. Trinity Lake, when we were in our probably late, maybe mid-20s, and went on vacation. Myself, my two brothers went, and some other friends. And one of my brothers brought this guy that I didn't really know, and kind of didn't really like, and then we said, all right, well, let's all everybody put in $50 or whatever. We'll go into town. We'll get something to eat. You're a dumb kid. You're 20 some odd years old. You don't know what the hell you're doing, right? So I went in my van. I took the work van. I went in the van to go get my wallet, and this guy was in the back of the van with my wallet in his hand, and the wallet was open, right? And I turn around the corner right here, and there he is. He looks at me, and he's got my wallet in his hand, and the wallet is open, and I've got probably $400 or $500 in there, and he goes, "Oh, I found this on the floor," and it's not possible. You know what I mean? I know exactly where it was, and I felt horrible for him. You know what I mean? Because I started thinking when everybody said, "Hey, everybody put in $50," he probably didn't have any money. You know what I mean? And I really felt bad for the guy.
He was in your wallet?
Yeah.
How did he get your wallet?
But it was in my van. I had my wallet in the van, which is unusual for me. But I had it in the back because you're swimming and everything. So I had, or actually in my case, just flailing in the water because I can't swim.
Yeah, you're a waiter.
Yeah,
right.
waiting, hoping not to get a miserable sunburn, which I don't get when I'm working. So yeah, so I honestly I wasn't mad at him. You would think that you would be, or I should be, or whatever, but I kind of felt sorry for the guy. So yeah. Anyhow,
I'm surprised you just didn't pull directly into the police station and say this guy's trying to rob me.
yeah, no, no, but yeah, you pay for a That's interesting.
Well, here's the other thing. Don't feel too bad. It's not like I had to spend $10,000. This house I was talking about that we went to in the Cape, we rented from a friend of a really good friend. So, we got it at probably a quarter of the cost of what they should have been charging. So it didn't hurt at all. Seriously.
Did you leave the place all in a disarray when you left? And,
God, no. That was the thing that we used to do before we found that place. We had rented some other places around Cape Cod, and they were always in better shape. They were always in better shape when we left than when we got there.
Mm-hmm.
Like one day we got to this place, and the kitchen chairs were, when you're renting a house, you never know what you're gonna get. Kitchen chairs were all crappy, and so Bum and I and Pauline's cousin Patrick, we went to town on these kitchen chairs, gluing, screwing. We repaired everything in the place. They were solid as a rock. So no, you wanted me to rent from you because the place was going to be better.
Okay. I've heard so many horror stories where people would rent out their B&B place to people that they know, and they just got trashed and after doing them a favor. But you know something? I don't do B&Bs for one reason. And
because you don't go on vacations.
Well, that's two reasons then. But I was working in one of our reps' territory.
Another name I need to know.
This guy's not with us anymore. But he said, you know what? You don't need to get a hotel. Stay the night in my house. My wife's a great cook. She's a nice person. She'd love to have you meet my kids and everything. And I said no. Now, the reason I said no It's the same reason I don't rent Airbnbs. With all this technology today, you could have a camera watching me. You know what I mean? You could have a
That's your reason?
yes.
You think somebody wants to watch you change?
Well, you know, I mean, yes. You never know. You never know. So you don't. I mean, there's
Out of
cameras
the
these
1
days.
million reasons.
You just
Out of the
don't want to take a
1
chance.
million reasons. That would be the last one I would ever think. Oh God, somebody's gonna take me when I'm in the bathroom.
It happens to people. I don't want to be on YouTube one day or wake up one day on Twitter or one of these other social media things that are out there and see me with a towel walking out of the shower. Then he would always have that. Then he'd go, "Hey, Wayne, I'd like to go on vacation. You know, we can't really let you go on vacation." Well, there's this. Sure,
Oh
take
my
sure take a month.
Who thinks like that?
The winners. The
Who
winners
thinks
think
like that?
The winners.
That's it. Every time I go anywhere now, I'm gonna walk around bucked, man. Go ahead, put me on. What?
Do you remember the ESPN lady that was at a hotel and
Yes.
somebody? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
She
Yeah.
got she got
what a nightmare for her that turned out to be.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. One, she got a fortune for that. She sued the hotel and she got, I mean, millions and millions of dollars, which in that case, it would be cool. I would do that. It'd be worth it for that. And well, yeah. So, I mean, yeah, obviously it's messed up. They shouldn't have done that. It's a horrible thing it's a complete invasion of privacy. But, so yeah, you gotta, you know, there you go.
All right. Let's get going here. All right. Number 3, the greater well-being. People who take a vacation, and I looked this up, they score on I'm going to read it to you, the Gallup Heathway Well-Being Index. People who take vacations, they score 68. People who don't take vacations score 51. So I'm going to say that one more time.
Please.
The Gallup Heathway Well-Being Index. I have looked everywhere to try to take this test. I want to see where I'm at when it comes to the Gallup Heathway Well-Being. You writing that down?
That poll brought to you by Hilton, hotel chain.
Very good.
I don't know about that, man.
I want you to take the. You know what? We got to find it, and you and I both have to take it.
I would gladly take that because I maintain. I like my little. Give me a day fishing on the weekend. I'm happy. It really doesn't take much to make me happy. I love what I do. I love working. I really truly do. I love the job. I love the challenge. I love the job. So I don't need a lot of vacation time. I need sometimes like a little downtime to recover, and then even that I enjoy. I have to start thinking. All right, what do I got to do? And then I get geared up and I go. And Judy lets me do it, and which is heaven for me. She knows that's my passion, whatever. So I don't really need a lot of vacation time. I really don't.
Now, when we did that episode on stress,
what's your problem?
I was wondering where you were going to go with fishing. I thought you were going to say, "Oh, fishing, that's my stress-free zone when I'm fishing."
Absolutely not.
You're a competitive guy, so I think fishing just.
Yeah.
The other thing, I've known you for a while. Some people embrace stress. I think you're one of those. You could be a carrier. You're a carrier.
I could be. Fishing is
not in a bad way.
Yeah. I told you that guy I fish with that we can't fish in the same boat anymore. Years ago, we went fishing, and I told him in the nicest way possible. I said, Paul, my cousin's going to go with us on this trip. Okay, so he's not really a fisherman, but I really like him. He's my cousin. He's a good guy. So let's just kind of, just gotta be nice because gotta be on our best behavior. I mean, on this trip. Oh my God! First of all, the boat is 20 feet long. He's no more than 12 inches apart from me at any given time. Because if there was another 4 inches on the front of the boat, we would both be standing on it to get the advantage in casting. And we are, I mean, and at one point, my cousin that I brought, he put his pole down. He just started laughing his ass off. And he goes, I've never seen anything like this before in my life. This is like no kind of fishing I've ever seen before, man. I thought we were going to go out, have a nice time, the waves, rocking the boat a little bit. Maybe, we have a sandwich in the sun and everything. You guys are out of control, man. He goes, you guys do this every time you go? We looked at him like in shame. You know what I mean? Like he called us both out. And then we continued to fish. So to the point where we put the boat in the water, I don't know, around 4 in the afternoon. We fished. Now it's dark. Now it's like 2 in the morning. Okay, we're still fishing. Or I take that back. I'm still fishing. The other two fell asleep. We hadn't caught anything, right? But I'm not going to take this downtime. I'm going to keep fishing. So I caught one, flipped the beautiful 3 or 4 pounder. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. And I flipped it right into Paul's lap while he was sleeping. And I go, yes, you slept, you loser. My cousin never went with us anymore.
I have a nickname when I'm fishing with when we used to fish with Patrick, Peter, and my son. I had a nickname. They called me Angry Bob. Matter of fact, I'll show you a picture of it. They made a little bobber with an angry face and gave it to me one time. And because Peter looked at me one day and he goes, nobody wants to fish with Angry Bob.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
What were you angry about?
Oh, I just used to get pissed if they weren't, fishing or
Biting.
They weren't biting, and it was my boat, so I wanted to go where I wanted to go, and I got the fish finder, and they just used to laugh like hell because I'd be constantly looking at that fish finder, they're there, and so I used to, it was just, I loved it, but it was stressful.
Well, here's the other thing.
Stressful. I'll tell you what else was stressful. Was fishing with Bum. There was one day him and I were in the boat, just him and I. Mm-hmm. He's hung over. I mean, I don't think he went to bed. I picked him up, and I'm pretty sure he never went to bed. Mm-hmm. So he's in rough shape. And we're, flipping docks. And I'm doing exactly what he's doing. I'm using the same kind of stuff. He's catching. I'm getting nothing. Mm-hmm. So this is going on for a while, and now the sun starts to hit him, and he goes, "I'm just gonna shut my eyes for a second," Yeah. And now we're throwing stuff on top of lily pads. We're in a different part of the lake, and we're on top of lily pads and stuff. And he's nailing them, still nothing. So he goes to sleep, and I go, "Oh." I take his pole.
Yeah.
With the exact same thing he's using. Mm-hmm. I'm doing exactly what he was doing. Nothing. Meanwhile, he's watching me, right? I thought he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And then, like, under his breath, he's like, "My pole's not working for you either, huh?" And then he gets up. I swear he does, 3 tosses and gets another one. I'm like, this is just, I don't know. Sometimes the fishing guys just don't look well down on me. But I love fishing, though.
Yeah.
I love fishing.
I would actually like to go fishing with you one day. I really would. We have to put that on a bucket list. Yeah.
I think we could have some laughs. Yeah.
I know we would.
But 2 years ago, my grandson was in a fishing contest for his school. So I said, well, let's just go down to the little lake in town. Everybody fishes off of the... So I'm, teaching my grandson how to fish. Bums with his kids, all the grandsons are there. From the shore, he catches a 4-pounder.
Wow.
And I was like, how I was right there. How did it not,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some
It's
people have
crazy.
it. So, yeah, some people
Well,
have it.
sometimes it's just your day too. So there's that. Here's the other thing about taking time off. Say you got a 3,000 square foot job to do, and it's cut up, and there's stairs, and there's a lot of hand scraping and whatever, there's a lot of going on, and one of your coworker takes a day off. Like, I look at him like he's abandoned his post. You know what I mean? And every day that I'm hand scraping, I'm thinking about him. That could have been here helping us, but he selfishly took time off to be with his family.
Why do you have to go to the funeral? You're not going to bring him back.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't they do wakes? Don't they do wakes at night? Go to the wake at night.
Yes.
Go there in the middle of the day.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, you're killing us. So remember, everybody, that is the Gallup Heathway's Well-Being Index. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna send you one. I want to take one. I just want to know what our scores are gonna be. Not that one is gonna be better than the other.
Yeah, no, of course. You know everything's a competition. What are you talking about? All right, Rob. So we took a poll of some super good contractors, and the same contractors that were kind enough to work with us or answer our questions on the podcast we did on pressure. And so I'm just going to name some of these guys that we spoke with. Well, there's Adam Bissey, Floors by the Shore; Dan Gorsinger with Gorsinger Brothers; Bill Powell Hardwood Floors; Cesar Cordona with Cordona Hardwood Floors; Real Antique Wood Floors, Gary Horvath; and David Heverly with Heverly Hardwood Floors. And I mean, that's a who's who right there. That's an all-star team. So let's go ahead and listen to what they had to say.
For me, we didn't really take vacations. We were pretty much gung ho the whole time. You know, balls to the walls all the time, just work. And then, because I felt guilty that I would be off, the guys would be working, and then when it came that the customer or the guys would call me. So why am I on vacation? I'm straight out working, and I'm on the phone anyway. So I would like to schedule the time that I did have off around long holidays, in between special times, and then know that if I could send them on a job that didn't require any homeowner participation, it made it a little easier. But that was it. For me, it's a different life now, but for my guys now, it's they're allowed to take vacation. I allow them to have that opportunity to tell me when they're going to want vacation. I like to, let's say, get at least a month's notice. Okay. At least that gives me opportunity to schedule around which jobs we're going to do for which guy that I may have, their needs. And if the customers can wait, which they usually do, they'll wait. But I'm okay with the guys taking off on vacation, and I'm not happy when they miss after a holiday. Yeah. You know, that kind of gets under my goat, that I've paid them for the holiday, they take the next day. Yeah. That is the part that we have a little bit of resistance on, because I tell them this way, I can't pay you for the holiday because you took the next day off. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard with certain people that they don't get that.
Makes sense.
So.
What do you do about vacation? Do you schedule vacation yourself?
Take a lot of them.
Do you really?
I try. I do try.
Nice.
I do try. And it's tough. I'm fortunate because my father and I are partners. Okay. So I can, he can hold the ball while I'm on, and I do the same for him.
Gotcha.
He's kind of stepped back as far as doing anything like running the business wise. He's just in the field, wants to just work and take care of things. So I can go away and have a nice kind of peak. My phone never stops, but it don't matter where, it don't matter I'm on vacation or not. The phone goes with me, and but it comes with the territory. Cool. But it's one of them things that I gotta get away, because if I don't, then what's it all for?
So years ago, didn't take a lot of vacation time. My kids were younger, and I can say that I probably missed a lot of things that I shouldn't have. As I've gotten older, I've realized that the important stuff oftentimes happens when you're away and you're on vacation, so you definitely got to make time for it. But I can also say that I'm fortunate that over the years I've been able to grow my team, and giving my team the ability to make decisions and to handle things when I'm not there, to empower them to do their job and not have to micromanage them all the time has also made a really big difference. So like if you're a sole proprietor who deals with everything and you don't feel that you can trust the people that work for you, you don't empower them to make those decisions, then yeah, you're going to be stuck having to work all the time, making every decision. But if you can get to a point, whether it's with one person or 10, where you're able to empower the people that work for you to make decisions that you trust them, you've trained them, you've spent the time building your team, then it's definitely going to make more time for you to be able to take vacation. So as I've gotten older and as I've been fortunate enough to grow my team, definitely take advantage of the fact that I can take some vacation time.
When my kids were younger, we used to make sure to schedule in 10-day vacation. Now they're getting older and they're, above 20, so we don't really do that so much anymore. Able to go out to end of year fair convention, and when I go out there, I make sure to spend an extra day or two and see some sights and try to get away maybe a weekend here and a weekend there for local stuff. And if something comes up, I wouldn't think twice about going.
I am finally at this point, but I would say it took me a long time to get there, and it really took hiring the right people, like having awesome people to pull together when you're away, because it almost seems like it's not just one person who can handle your duties when you're away. It's got to be several people. So between my office and my lead guys in the field, like together, they pull it together, and then I really, believe it or not, don't get that many calls when I'm away. And it's really, that's what it is. It's the calls that create stress in you when you're away, because you can't go and take care of a situation. So I have found that the less calls you get and the more that you're relying on your employees to handle situations, and you just let them do their thing, whether it's right or wrong. And if it's wrong, you just educate them on how that you would have done it in the future. The more I put faith in them, the more it comes back to me and being able to relax and actually go on vacation and enjoy my family.
Trying to do now is planning ahead and trying to, that week or 2 weeks are going to be out, try to don't leave too much work. Just the necessary for the regular customers, to make sure I'm not going to get those calls. A guy asked me, for a roller without going to the van, and they have the rollers there. That's what I'm trying to, try to schedule that week, light week to be able to enjoy.
So that's interesting. Okay, so I like to hear I'd like to hear other people's perspective on everything. You take a guy like Adam Bissey, who is man, he's got so much responsibility and he has so much on his plate, and some of these other guys that how they handle things and how they were able to delegate, and I think it's super interesting to me, and so we really appreciate them coming on with us.
Yeah, and you notice, like Dan was saying, it's nice to have other people you can trust and rely on, because going on vacation is almost going to be impossible if you can't.
Yeah,
if you don't have that key person.
Everybody is wired differently, and I joke around a little bit, but I mean, I am serious. I really don't take a lot of vacation time, but if you're someone that does and needs to, I think it's important to schedule it really for your mental health. I really do believe that. And here's the thing too: when you schedule vacation, schedule bringing your big machine to get serviced. Bring your edger and your big machine. If one of your guys is going on vacation and say for August 15th, schedule with your distributor, have them work on it, maintain his machines while he's gone, because we know how hard it is to do it when he's we can't turn the machines off when everybody's working. Have the belts looked at, have the machines cleaned out, bring it to your distributor guy, and be grateful that you have a distributor or somebody that can work on the machines, because they're few and far between. And I mean, you think it's hard to find a good mechanic to do floors? It's hard to find someone to work on a machine. And something, I'll tell you something else too about distributors in this industry. I've talked to a lot of distributors across the country, and they don't make money on these machines. They really don't. It's something that they do it because it's a service to their
service to their customer.
Customer, and they don't make a lot of money doing it. And you look at the amount of parts that they have to stock. and how long they have to hang on to those parts that might turn one screw, the random screw that they need when someone else needs it, and it might sit there for 2 years. That's not making any money off them. So, as many distributor people as I talk to, sometimes I talk to someone who says, well, I think I'd like to be a distributor, or, we thought about being a distributor too. I think really have no idea how hard it is to be a distributor and how many ways that they get hit from all different directions and everything. It's a very tough business to do. And I'm grateful, and when I look at, when we come into a distributor, that's their house. That's their house, and they've put blood, sweat, and tears into that. Every single one of these, especially when they have multiple locations or whatever. I mean, that's every time they open one, it's like opening up a brand new business, and employees and everything that goes into that. And then if there's deliveries and on top of that and all these different things, man, you'd be surprised. They don't make a lot of these things. They're doing this as a service to their clients and their customers. So shout out to distributors. And Rob, I know you feel the same way. We both worked at one. We understand on a small level some of the complexities of that business, and so we're grateful for them.
I tell you, when I ran the pro shop, God, that was 25 years ago for Hoboken.
Did you say ran it into the ground?
No,
sorry,
baby.
sorry. That was unfair.
Guys were so appreciative. I mean, if somebody brought in a nailer or an edger and said, it's doing this, it's doing that, and just drop what I was doing. And you see that a lot with distribution, with service centers and distribution, is they know how important it is. They know that, things break down, everything comes to a halt. And a lot of these service centers were like we used to do it, where if I can get to it right now, I'm going to get to it right now. I'm going to drop what I'm doing and get your machine done. And we see that all over the place with a lot of these service centers. So they get it.
But here's
like
what
when you pull your car in for brakes or something, they're like, yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah. But here's what you see more often than not. And I've seen this a lot, where you go into the shop where the guy repairs the machines, and there's machines everywhere. But there's drum sanders and edgers and nail guns lined up wall to wall. And that guy is busy. He's humping.
Yeah.
But you always see a guy out coming with a machine. I gotta have this. I got a job. I mean, the job's got to go now. It's an emergency, whatever. So that's a lot of stress on those guys, because they feel the stress. They feel the stress from the contractors bringing the machines, and they know they have to get the machines out. And as I said, a lot of times they're really doing it as a service. It's not a money-making venture for them. It's more of a service to their customers. So hats off to all those guys that do that, and the distributors, just in distributors in general, play such an important role in our industry.
I used to have one guy who would maybe bring his gun in, like run in once every 6 months and go, Rob, I need that real quick fix. The quick fix you do? And there's one washer on the inside of a plunger on the Bostitch nailer. It's like that. It's an O-ring washer, but it's flat-sided.
Yeah.
And once that wears, right? You know the one I'm talking about? As soon as that wears, now you're just blowing air. You're not getting any compression. And I would just pop that out, put it together. I bet I got to the point where I could do that repair in about 10 minutes. And the guy was like, oh, you're the greatest. And I'm like, I can show you how to do it. I didn't go to school for this. It ain't rocket science. It's really, He goes, no. I trust the way you do it. And I'm like, all right, no problem.
Sounds familiar. Good stuff, Rob. All right. Thank you, Rob. Always great to spend some time with you. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.